Welcome to the Imprint YouTube training channel. My name is Tommy and I've got the great pleasure of serving at Imprint. Imprint exists to leave a healthy mark on the ever-growing church in Africa, providing trustworthy biblical resources and training to churches. Now today we're going to start with a new series, a series on church leadership, and we'll be working through this little book. It's available on our website for sale. It's written by Jeremy Rini and published by Crossway, and it's available. Now, before you switch me off saying, well, I'm not an elder, I'm not a leader in the church, I'm just going to switch this video off, well, don't. It's a wonderful way to learn what leadership is in your church, and it'll equip you, if you're not a leader, to either pray through these things and see whether you can become a leader, or if you're not a leader, to pray for your leadership, which we all need is prayer. Now, this video is for everyone, and even this series. So the better you know what your leaders in your church is, the better you can pray and support them. Or you might be a young person, a man, praying whether you would like to become a leader one day. So here we go. Now, from the outset, we need to realize that church leadership is part of God's plan for His bride, the church. God raises leaders to lead and serve His body, the church. We also need to know that the Bible refers to leaders under different names. So they can be called pastors, church leaders, elders, overseers, or under-shepherds, meaning the chief shepherd, Jesus Christ, appoints under-shepherds under Him to serve the church, His bride. We also see throughout the Bible God raising leaders or under-shepherds. Think of Moses, think of Joshua or David, the prophets, the disciples. And then later on in the New Testament, we see elders being appointed in the church. A lot of people don't know what an elder is supposed to do, which naturally they fall into a groove of doing what they know best, which could be administration, running a company, managing projects, overseeing subcontractors, or seeing patients. So if they don't know what a leader is supposed to do, these elders that are in these positions in their vocational work, they fall into this groove of what they do at work, they do in the church. Now that's natural, but these skills always comes in handy when you're a leader. But that is not what the Bible shows us an elder should do. And we'll look at that a little bit later. But before we look at that, we should need to know and what to look for, what the Bible tells us about their character or qualifications. So before you can do the job, you need to have a certain character or qualification of being a leader. Most people traditionally would think it's older men, or it's the rich businessman, or you need a seminary qualification to be an elder. But the Bible shows us something totally different. Being an elder in a church is biblical, as God looks after His church through the work of qualified men. Now, let's look at 6 qualifications from the New Testament. And the first one, Jeremy really helps us. He says that you need to want to be a leader. The Bible talks to aspire, or you have this desire to serve as an elder. It is something that you want to do. 1 Peter 5 warns an elder not to do it out of compulsion or feeling forced or a duty, but he wants to do it willingly. He wants to do it. There's a drive and a love for serving. Number 2, exemplify a godly character. So church leaders should reflect Jesus' character, pointing people, showing people who Jesus is, and lead them to grow in Him and in their relationship with Him. What are some of those? Jesus was hospitable. He was gentle. He had self-control. He wasn't quarrelsome. And he was not greedy. He was very generous in giving. That's just to name a few. Now, we know leaders are still human, and we can't expect perfection because we are all sinners, and we've seen that in our gospel series. But these qualities should be strived for. So these men in leadership positions should strive for these qualities. You should see a growth in the leaders in these specific areas. Being above reproach, that's what the Bible calls it, is someone that you won't suspect of wrongdoing or immorality. Through his character, he safeguards the gospel and the image of Jesus. He controls himself in all areas of life. I mean, self-control is one of the root things that you fight sin with. He thinks of others above himself, especially in conversations and money. Number three, he can teach the Bible. Teaching the Bible is central to any elder's job. God leads through his word, and his leaders uses his word to lead. God shows the people where they should go through his word, and the leaders uses the word to show the people the way. If they don't know how to teach his word, they can't lead his people. Number 4, lead your family well. While the leader will lead the family of God in the same way he leads his own family. He needs to be a one-woman man, meaning he needs to be faithful to his one wife. The way you lead your kids will show how you will lead God's kids. You take ultimate responsibility for both the church as you do for your family, as you lead them into maturity. So the way you lead your family, that is how you will lead the church. Number 5, elders are males. This is self-explanatory. We have scripture informing us that elders can only be male. There aren't any female elders. We see in 1 Timothy 2 verse 12 and Ephesians 5:22, God calls men to lead his family. And number 6, mature believers. They need to be mature, not young Christians. Paul says that elders shouldn't be new believers. If they are, they can become filled with pride or puffed up. The man should go through growth and testing before he becomes an elder. His relationship with Jesus must have a track record in maturity. So people need to see over the years how he's been growing so that he can do the same for them. Now, is this you? Do you have elders like this that we've just seen in your church? Maybe pause the video right now and pray through these 6 points or these 6 qualifications. Go read 1 Timothy 3 verses 1-7 out loud and see whether you are this man, whether you exemplify these qualifications. Or go pray and see whether your church has elders like these. And men like this should be examined. Elders should reflect Jesus. They should teach the Bible, and they should serve the bride, the church, in humility and love. Go think about those things. Here are some questions that you can go think about. And number 1, what is an elder? Number 2, what are the qualifications of an elder? And number 3, in what way does the world misunderstand church leadership? Here are some scripture verses. And the first one is 1 Peter 5 verses 1-4, Ephesians 4 7-13, and 1 Timothy 3 verses 1-7. I hope you enjoyed this episode. There are more episodes to come under the heading of church leadership. So remember to click on the subscribe button and like this. You can also find us on Facebook at Imprint On or our website, imprinton.org. Our podcast is also there, Imprint Out Loud. So go follow us on those settings or platforms. If you know of others that would benefit from these videos or find them helpful, please share it with them. If you have any questions or comments regarding what we spoke about today, leave us a comment below and then we can discuss these things. Well, I'm signing off till next time. Take action, read, and learn.